My fiancé said, "People only invite you because of me. On your own, you're forgettable." I replied, "Good to know." That week, I stopped going anywhere with her. 3 days later, one of her closest friends pulled her aside, and whatever she whispered made my fiancé go completely pale. I'm Ethan, 29, and I spent 2 years engaged to someone who slowly convinced me I had no value outside of being her plus one. This is about the week I tested that theory and discovered she'd been lying to both of us. I met Taylor when I was 27. She was charismatic, social, the kind of person who knew everyone at every party. I'm more reserved, the type who'd rather have dinner with 3 close friends than attend a massive gathering. Opposites attract, right? For a while, it worked. She pulled me into her social world. I grounded her when things got overwhelming. We got engaged after 18 months. The relationship felt solid, or at least I thought it did. Looking back, the cracks were there early. I just didn't recognize them as cracks. Taylor had this habit of positioning herself as the reason I had a social life. "Thank God I brought you out tonight. You'd never leave the apartment otherwise. People wouldn't even know you exist if I didn't introduce you around." It started as teasing, then became her standard explanation for why we were invited places. About 4 months ago, the comments got more pointed. We were getting ready for her coworker's birthday party when she turned to me and said, "You should make more of an effort to talk to people tonight. I don't want them thinking I dragged along dead weight." Dead weight. You know what I mean. You stand in the corner nursing one drink all night. People notice. So don't bring me. I can't show up alone. That looks worse. Just try to be more engaged, okay? I tried. I talked to her coworkers, asked about their jobs, laughed at appropriate times. But I could see it in her expression throughout the night. I wasn't performing well enough. I wasn't the social, charming partner she wanted me to be. The breaking point came 2 weeks ago. We were invited to a dinner party hosted by one of Taylor's closest friends, Rebecca. 8 couples, fancy restaurant. The kind of evening where everyone tries to out-interesting each other with travel stories and career updates. I was quiet most of the night. Not because I was uncomfortable, just because I didn't have much to add to conversations about yacht trips and corporate promotions. Taylor kept shooting me looks, those subtle glances that said, "Say something. Do something. Stop embarrassing me." On the drive home, she let me have it. That was painful. "You barely said 10 words all night." I didn't have anything to contribute to those conversations. That's the problem. You never do. You just sit there making me look bad. How does my being quiet make you look bad? She pulled the car into our apartment complex parking lot and turned to face me. "Because people only invite you because of me. They don't actually want you there. They tolerate you because you're with me. On your own, you're forgettable." The words hung in the air. Forgettable. She said it with such casual certainty, like it was just an obvious fact she was finally being honest about. "Good to know," I said quietly. "I'm not trying to be mean. I'm being realistic. You need to hear this. If you want people to actually want you around, you need to make more effort." I got out of the car and went inside. She followed, still talking about social strategies and personality adjustments I should make. I nodded along, went to bed, and lay there processing what she'd just said. The next morning, I made a decision. If people only invited me because of Taylor, then I'd stop going places with her. Let's see what happens. Update 1. That week, Taylor had 3 social events planned. Wednesday drinks with her work friends, Friday dinner at Rebecca's place again, and Saturday brunch with her college roommates. Events I'd normally attend without question. Wednesday afternoon, she asked what time I'd be ready to leave. "I'm not going tonight." "What? Why not?" "You said people only invite me because of you. So I'm testing that theory." "You go. Have fun. I'll stay home." "Ethan, I didn't mean you should stop coming to things." "No, you were right. If I'm forgettable and only there because of you, there's no point in me going. People will probably enjoy themselves more without me there." "You're being ridiculous." "Maybe, but I'm also being forgettable at home where it won't embarrass you." She left for drinks without me. Came home around 11 p.m., didn't bring it up again. Friday, same thing. "Aren't you coming to Rebecca's?" "No, you said people tolerate me because of you." "I don't want to be tolerated." "You go enjoy yourself. People are going to ask where you are. Tell them I'm being forgettable somewhere else." She went to dinner. Came home around midnight. This time she seemed agitated. "Rebecca asked about you. I told her you weren't feeling well." "Why lie?" "Because I can't exactly say my fiancé is having a tantrum about something I said." "This isn't a tantrum. This is me respecting your assessment of my social value. Saturday morning, she was clearly stressed. The brunch with her college friends was the big one. The group she saw most regularly, the one she talked to almost daily. You're coming to brunch. No. Ethan, enough. This has gone on long enough. People are asking questions. What questions? About you. About us. About why you're suddenly not around. Tell them the truth. I'm forgettable and people only invite me because of you. I never should have said that. But you did. And now I'm curious to see if it's true. She went to brunch alone. I spent the afternoon reading, working on a project for my job, enjoying the quiet. She came home at 4 p.m. Walked in looking shaken. Pale. Didn't say anything. Just went straight to the bedroom. I gave her an hour, then went to check on her. She was sitting on the bed staring at nothing. What happened? Nothing. Taylor, you look like someone died. What happened at brunch? She looked up at me, and I saw something I'd never seen in her eyes before. Genuine uncertainty. Jen pulled me aside after brunch. Asked why you weren't coming to things anymore. I told her you were busy with work. She said that was bullshit. Okay. Then she said, Taylor stopped, swallowed hard. She said everyone's been asking about you. Not about why you're not there. About you specifically. They miss you. I sat down. What? Jen said people like you. That you're one of the few people at these gatherings who actually listens when they talk. Who remembers details about their lives. Who doesn't try to one-up everyone's stories. And she asked if I'd been making you feel unwelcome. If I'd said something that made you stop coming. The room was very quiet. What did you tell her? I lied. Said you were just stressed about work. But she didn't believe me. She said if I was making you feel like you didn't belong, I was making a huge mistake. Why would that be a mistake? Taylor's voice cracked slightly. Because apparently people have been complaining to each other about how I dominate conversations. How I make everything about me. How they're glad when you're around because you balance me out. I processed this. People have been saying this. According to Jen, yes. For months. They just never said it to me directly. So when you said people only invite me because of you, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. They invite me because I'm your girlfriend. You're the one they actually want there. Update 2. The next few days were tense. Taylor tried to act like everything was normal, but I could see her processing the revelation. The foundation of her self-image had cracked. Wednesday, she asked if I wanted to come to drinks with her work friends. I declined. She went alone. Came home 2 hours later looking deflated. They asked about you again. Kelly said she misses talking to you about books. Apparently you two had been having this ongoing conversation about sci-fi novels, and she's been wanting to recommend something to you. I don't remember having an ongoing conversation with Kelly. That's because you don't realize when you're connecting with people. You think you're just being polite, but you're actually making them feel heard. I never noticed because I was too busy performing. Friday, Rebecca texted me directly. Hey, Taylor said you've been swamped with work, but we're having a small dinner next week and would love if you could make it. No pressure, but you're missed. I showed Taylor the text. She looked at it for a long time. You should go. Without you. They invited you specifically. Not us. You. What does that mean for us? She sat down, shoulders slumped. I think it means I've been an asshole. I've spent 2 years telling you that you're only interesting because of me, when the truth is I'm only tolerable because of you. That's not. It is. Jen sent me a longer message today. Want to read it? She handed me her phone. The message was brutal. Jen laid out months of observations. How Taylor talked over people. How she steered every conversation back to herself. How she dismissed other people's stories as less interesting than hers. And then the kicker. The only time you're actually bearable is when Ethan's there. He softens you. Makes you listen. When he's not around, you're exhausting. I handed the phone back. That's harsh. That's honest. And I've been doing the same thing to you. Telling you you're forgettable when really I was terrified that people might like you more than me. Taylor, I need to figure some things out. About myself. About how I treat people. About how I've been treating you. Final update. We didn't break up immediately. Taylor started therapy, working through her need to be the center of attention, her insecurity masked as confidence. I started going to social events again, but setting clearer boundaries about how she spoke to me in public and private. But 3 months later, we both realized the damage was too deep. She'd spent 2 years convincing me I had no social value, and I'd internalized that. Even with her apologies and changed behavior, I couldn't unhear, "You're forgettable." And she couldn't handle that the social circle she thought she built actually preferred my company to hers. We called off the engagement in March. Split amicably, or as amicably as possible when the foundation of your relationship turns out to be built on one person's insecurity and the other person's gradually eroding self-esteem. The ironic thing? After we split, I kept getting invited to things. Rebecca's dinners, Kelly's book club, game nights with Taylor's former co-workers. They weren't inviting me because of Taylor. They were inviting me despite her. And Taylor? She moved to a different city 6 months after we split. Fresh start, new social circle, hopefully better self-awareness. I genuinely hope she figured out how to be the charismatic person she always thought she was without needing to tear down the people around her to feel elevated. As for me, I learned that forgettable was never the right word. I'm not loud or flashy or the life of the party. But I'm someone people want around because I make them feel heard. That's not forgettable. That's just a different kind of memorable. The moment Jen whispered whatever she whispered to Taylor at that brunch, the moment Taylor went pale and realized her entire social perception was inverted from reality, that was the beginning of the end. Not because I wanted revenge or vindication, but because we both finally saw our relationship clearly. She'd built her identity on being the reason I had a social life. When that turned out to be false, she had to confront who she actually was. And I had to confront that I'd spent 2 years accepting someone's diminishment of me as truth. We were both wrong about a lot of things. But she was most wrong about me being forgettable. The 3 days it took for her friends to notice my absence and start asking questions proved that. Sometimes the cruelest thing someone can do is convince you that you don't matter. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is test whether that's actually true. Edit. People keep asking what Jen specifically whispered to Taylor. I never got the exact words, just Taylor's shaken recounting of the conversation. But based on how Taylor reacted and what she told me afterward, it was something along the lines of, everyone's wondering where Ethan is and why you keep coming alone. We like you, but we're here for him too. The specific words mattered less than the message. Taylor's entire perception of our social dynamic was backwards. Edit 2. For those asking if I felt vindicated, not really. I felt sad. Sad that it took me completely removing myself from situations for anyone, including me, to realize I actually belonged there. Sad that Taylor's insecurity had warped both of our perceptions for so long. Vindication implies winning something. Nobody won here.